That moment in time is finally at hand, the 2016 NFL Draft. Oh, yippee! Whoa! Awesome stuff! It's 3 days of better than sex spank bank material for millions of nerdy NFL fans, such as you, and of course, me. Alright, let's talk some NFL Draft. Time for my final 2016 NFL mock draft. Sort of. In the interest of saving time, I wanted to make sure I got a mock draft done. I knew I was up against the clock today of doing this before the NFL draft actually kicks off at 8 Eastern tonight, so figured it was a little after 5. I need to hurry up and get this thing done and uploaded. So what I decided to do was do a one-round official mock draft. Kind of flew through it, I'm going to be honest. And then after day 1 of the draft, I'm probably going to come on here and do a day 2 mock draft, actually see how things shake out in day 1 and give us maybe a better feel of what will happen in day number 2. Who knows if I'll even potentially do that? I don't know. If you want my thoughts throughout the next three days on the NFL draft, you can follow me at @TheJeffSchlegel on Twitter is the Twitter handle. So let's go right into the mock draft. I think everybody's content with Goff going 1 to the Rams and Wentz going 2 to the Eagles. The real draft begins at number 3. And this lies the crux of the problem. Is there seems to be 3 choices. It's Ronnie Stanley for some god unknown reason, Jalen, Ramsey, DeForest, Buckner. So there's all types of different scenarios that play out. Number 3 is where the draft really begins. Now for me, if the Chargers were actually thinking about offensive tackle, the fact that they would consider Ronnie Stanley over Laremy Tunsil is ludicrous and asinine to me. Backwards beyond all fuck. I don't know if this is maybe a strategy to sit there and get somebody else that actually covets Stanley more than Tunsil because they're stupid. Maybe the 49ers, maybe the Titans. Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Any number of possible thought processes could be out there. Maybe the thought is floating this out there, but not really floating this out there, hoping somebody comes and knocks your socks off with a big, huge offer. You see what Tennessee and Cleveland got to move back, and San Diego maybe wants to do the same thing. I just don't see the thing. At the end of the day, I had to make a choice. I'm like, where are they going to go with number 3? I've done it before, and I'm coming back to it, DeForest Buckner. He makes a lot of sense for them on the defensive line. Stanley is not worth a top 5 pick, and they may feel that Laremy Tunsil is not worth a top 5 pick. I don't agree with that assessment, but it is probably the assessment at this point in time. DeForest Buckner fills a huge need on the defensive front, gives you a solid player against the run, and a solid pass rusher as a 5 technique 3-4 end. So I started there. Then with number 4 with Dallas, it could be Jalen Ramsey. It could be Ezekiel Elliott. I really went back and forth on this. For the ease of doing the mock draft, I went with Ramsey going number 4. I had the Jags taking Joey Bosa number 5 because, of course, they would. I'm not necessarily sold that he'll actually go top 5 yet. It's a possibility. But this is the absolute ceiling of where he's going to go, is going to be number 5. And number 6, Baltimore. Does nothing, yet comes out huge winners, smelling like roses here, and they can take Laremy Tunsil from Ole Miss, and they get their franchise blindside protector from Flacco for the next several years to come. The 49ers need some help on that offensive line, short-term on the right side, especially if Anthony Davis doesn't come back to them, long-term on the left side to replace Joe Staley. Ronnie Stanley here for them, based off of the situation and circumstance, does make sense. They can't get one of the top 2 quarterbacks. Jalen Ramsey is off the board. DeForest Buckner is off the board. Laremy Tunsil is off the board. So Ronnie Stanley makes the most sense for them here. At pick 8, Cleveland. As I went through this mock, I didn't do a bunch of trade downs or trade ups. It was as much a time saver as anything else. You'll notice the only trade up I did was Cleveland peeling back up to 26 because they haven't learned from the history of the past. And they're taking Paxton Lynch. But I've got him taking Ezekiel Elliott here. To me, at this point in time, if Ezekiel Elliott is on the board at number 8, Cleveland is absolutely fucking humping insane if they pass on Ezekiel Elliott. He is arguably the number 1 player in this entire draft class. You need talent. You need franchise changers. Ezekiel Elliott can be a franchise changer. He could be a building block on that offensive side of the ball while you try to find your quarterback either in this draft or another draft. If you're going to trade up and get Paxton Lynch later on, so be it. Do whatever. Hey, don't learn from your past mistakes as an organization. What the fuck would I know? But at least if you get Ezekiel Elliott, it's a huge step in the right direction for potentially winning that trade down with the Philadelphia Eagles. I've got the Bucks at number 9 taking Leonard Floyd. I've been on him for a little while as potentially top 10 pick. I even last mock draft bumped him up to 5 here. I put him at number 9. I wouldn't be surprised if Elliott went 4 And that meant Jalen Ramsey was on the board at 5 if Tampa wouldn't desperately try to move from 9 to 5 to go get him, and Jacksonville would trade back to number 9 and take either Leonard, Floyd, or pray that Joey Bosa's there, or maybe then they would decide they want to take Myles Jack. For some reason, there's all this top 10 buzz about Jack Conklin. I've got him going 10. The Bears at number 11. The pressure's on. I've actually nailed it, if you guys remember that followed me long enough, their last 2 first-round picks with Kyle Fuller, and then this past year with Kevin White. Now this year, I'm going with Shaq Lawson. There's not a perfect marriage there, so it is what it is. In terms of other notable picks, I've got Myles Jack falling all the way to 14. Unfortunately for him, great thing for the Raiders. One of the best things that could possibly happen would be a great thing for the Falcons, too, because they can have Darron Lee fall into their laps at number 17. It would be another outstanding linebacker going off the board later than he should. In general, I look at this draft, and I expect a lot more trade activity than what we actually have in this mock. I expect there to be quite a bit of movement. We've already seen several moves made up and down the board before the draft has even begun, so I would imagine there's going to be quite a bit more once the draft actually kicks off tonight. I'll be back doing other draft videos throughout the weekend. I still got a couple more draft videos to hurry up and crank out for you, so let me know what you think of my one-round mock down below, and feel free to go up against me and let me know your picks for the first round of the 2016 NFL Draft.